Hello and welcome to NMH at 1, where we bring you news and happenings in and around Namibia at the top of the lunch hour. My name is Glenora Shipura and I'll be keeping you company for today's broadcast. In the news today, we take a sneak peek at the news headlining Namibia's 5 daily newspapers and share news updates from across the country and beyond. We also get into some sporting highlights.
Are the need to review the criteria that land boards and traditional authorities use when they recommend leasehold titles or leasehold agreements for individuals in communal land. We need to make sure that these leasehold agreements satisfy the criteria, which basically must in turn ensure that the communities are served well. There is an improvement with the administration of land. So any land user, whether it's a conservancy, whether it's a mining operation, whether it's a tourist operation, whether it's a farming operation, has to go through the land board for permission to do that. And that is a process of acquiring a leasehold. And that is when it is not directly falling under a traditional authority and is part of the commonage. Anything outside the commonage, outside a designated area, must go through the land board. There were other issues that the members of the land board brought to us. For instance, access to graves and ceremonial places. I think we agreed that we must be tolerating these and we must make sure that these sites are well respected and accessible to whoever wants to go there. We also believe that the procedures of the land board itself need to be improved, because our quest is to bring about a transparent and accountable land administration in communal land. We must equip the land board to be accountable by giving them the criteria that are anchored in law, so that they can justify any decision, whether it's an approval or a rejection, by saying the criteria were met or were not met. There were issues about illegal fences. We have countrywide in communal lands an issue with illegal fences. People fence off parts of the commonage and use it for themselves without leasehold agreements or without the necessary procedure being followed. These illegal fences need to be identified, and then there must be a legal procedure followed as per the Act that decides whether they should be dismantled or not.
Now, in our second video for the day, SWAPO Party Youth League Kavango East Secretary Anselm Murangu says the ruling party is disappointed in how the town is being governed. He commented on the situation over the weekend at the official opening of the Youth Wing's political year at Divindu. Kenya Kambwe was there.
So far, Rundu Town Council, so far the residents are still not happy with service delivery in Rundu Town Council, ranging from water supply, land, and the roads. So we are saying we need street lights also. Street lights are needed alongside our highway when entering town from both east and west. This beautifies the town at night, and it also gives signs to motorists that pass through or comes into our town, because at the moment, at night, a person cannot know if he or she has arrived in town or not, because the road that passes through town is always in the dark. Street lights provide safety to ratepayers who go about their business and students that go to and from school evening time. Crime is being perpetrated at night or at sunset in our streets, and this can be remedied by installing street lights. Our roads. We need to upgrade our roads using interlocks. We understand and we know it that Rundu Town Council have an interlocks manufacturing machine, and that machine is collecting dust somewhere and not utilized. Rundu Town Council have to create a department that will put this machine to use by producing interlock bricks and recruit our unemployed youth to construct our roads using interlocks. This is the cheapest. We have sand and water in abundance. The workforce from the youth is hungry for this opportunity. We should do away with a tendering system as it requires millions of dollars, because here we'll only spend on salaries. We need a gravel road from Sikanduko to join Kuma Road parallel to the Trans-Zambezi Highway. We further still call on the fall of Red Force. Our Rundu Town Council have the capacity to do the work which was contracted to Red Force. I thank you very much.
And that's it from our video news from around the country. Next, we'll be highlighting stories leading our daily print publications, so stick around to see the news headlining the papers. Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. We now look at what the lead stories are in Namibia's daily newspapers. On the front pages of today's newspapers, Namibia's Sun front page reports that the political and legal analysts agreed that Friday's High Court ruling against Independent Patriots for Change Regional Coordinator Abednego Bishop Hishono did not set a precedent of limiting freedoms to speak about public matters involving people in authority. The Namibian Sun reports that chaos erupted at various University of Namibia campuses when students were required to present COVID-19 vaccination cards to be admitted to hostels last week. The Republican reports that the final stage is ready for Namibia's Supreme Court to decide whether Namibian authorities should legally grant equal rights to Namibians and their non-Namibian same-sex spouses. On page 3, the Republican reports that the Kuwas community is concerned about a lack of service delivery and water, as well as clogged sewer systems, a landfill that is not being cleaned, and power supply that still needs to be repaired. Allgemeine Zeitung's front page reports that according to a nearly 20-year-old framework that outlined and defined the African peer review mechanism, Namibia is highly praised for its leadership, and on the inside pages of the Allgemeine Zeitung reports that Namibia is in the final stages of developing a so-called blue economic policy to effectively protect and preserve the biological diversity, productivity, resilience, and value of marine and aquatic ecosystems. The Namibian reports that Namibian doctor Esperance Lavindo has been honored by Britain's Queen Elizabeth with the Commonwealth Points of Light Awards for delivering free online consultations to more than 44,000 patients in hard-to-reach rural areas across Namibia since 2019. And on the inside, the Namibian reports that a former police officer facing child rape and pornography charges, Johan Marie, was back in the dock in the Windhoek Magistrate Court on Friday, following a bungled attempt to have his case transferred to the High Court. In the new era, it is still unclear how many of the approximately 800 people employed at Dundee Precious Metals in Tsumeb will be retrenched following its announcement that the company has embarked on a cost reduction exercise. In the new era, it is reported that the family of friends of the northern-based teacher, Abednego Bishop Hishono, who was ordered to pay 250,000 Namibian dollars to First Lady Monica Gengos for defamation, have indicated their willingness to help raise the funds. According to MarketWatch, having access to sufficient information on financing and market access plays a crucial role in ensuring that micro, small, medium enterprises thrive both locally and internationally. Now, staying with economic news, up next in economic news.
Choose your Flex package with Paratus today. Sign up for ultra-fast fiber with the convenience of mobile LTE. That's 2 products in 1 bundle. It's new, it's 1 bill, and you can stay connected in more than 1 location.
For more information, visit paratus.africa/NA.
Always prepared. Paratus.
In today's economic news, in our first story, Trade Forum makes strides in taking local products to foreign shelves. The Trade Forum says it aims to bring products from small and medium enterprises to the continental market is coming to fruition as the continent is making strides towards increasing intra-Africa trade flows. Namibia Trade Forum Chief Executive Officer Stacey Pinto, who also serves on the National Committee for the Implementation of African Continental Free Trade Agreement, Pinto said the impending rollout of Namibia's product identification code will position Namibian products to be uniquely identifiable on global retail shelves. Namibia received its license to administer its own product barcode in May last year, which will be rolled out in the coming months, the Namibian reports. Now, in our second story, competition watchdog finds Greg's Motorspares. A Windhoek-based company with branches countrywide has agreed to pay the Namibian Competition Commission a total of 1.25 million Namibian dollars in penalties and costs for anti-competitive behavior. NACC investigated Greg's Motorspares and found it entered into exclusive agreements, which affords preferential rights, sole distribution rights, waiving of excess fees, and rebates. As such, the company contravened Section 23 of the Competition Act. Greg's Motorspares admitted that its conduct constituted an unintended contravention of the Act, and both parties agreed on 20th January 2022 to settle the investigation and High Court proceedings in a full and final settlement. In addition, the company will develop the implementation and compliance program on competition law in Namibia to ensure that it does not engage in any conduct that is prohibited in terms of the Act. Now, in our third story, uranium mining controversy rages on. The Stamford Aquifer Uranium Mining Committee has hit out at the president of Uranium One, Andrei Shatov, a Russian state-owned uranium exploration, mining and processing agency, over an article in which he advocated in situ leaching mining of uranium in Namibia. Shatov said Russian geologists had identified promising uranium deposit of the Kazakh type in the Stamford Basin. The Stamford Committee are, however, accusing Shatov of withholding vital information on the dangers of the ISL method. They said uranium prospect in the area could have disastrous consequences because in situ leaching could contaminate the huge Stamford Artesian Basin aquifer on which arid southeastern Kalahari desert of Namibia and the neighboring countries of Botswana and South Africa depend on. We now look at the economic indicators. We'll be back to extend beyond Namibian borders with more on what is happening across the continent.
It's each one sentence.
Okay, I get it now. And now let's have a look at our economic indicators. The Chinese yuan has dropped in value, now equating to 2.39 Namibian dollars as the US dollar, euro, and British pound appreciate. The stock market maintains its prices with Namibia Breweries Limited trading at 449.46 Namibian dollars. Trustco Group Holdings Limited had a 1.50 stock price increase, now trading at 1.35 Namibian dollars. Looking at our commodities, copper and zinc have gone down in value, while gold and Brent crude oil have gone up, the latter appreciating by 3.99%. We now take a look at latest news in our neighboring countries. We'll later expand on the rest of the globe. In our first story, Botswana to fine or jail returning citizens who refuse COVID-19 vaccination. Returning Botswana citizens unwilling to vaccinate for COVID-19 face a fine of about 5,000 Botswana pula, equivalent to 6,005 Namibian dollars, or a year in prison, or both, as the government worries about vaccines that will expire in April this year. The fine and prison terms are contained in a government gazette, which was published on Friday under the Public Health Act. The provisions apply to anyone above the age of 12 and are effective from today. In our second story, French air raids kill 40 fighters in Burkina Faso. French forces have killed dozens of fighters in Burkina Faso linked to deadly attacks in neighboring Benin. The French-led Burkina force in the Sahel region engaged its air intelligence capacities to locate the armed group responsible for the attacks before carrying out air attacks that killed 40 fighters, the Army's General Command said on Saturday. A Frenchman had been among 9 people killed this week in 2 attacks on park rangers in the W National Park, a wildlife reserve in Benin's remote north bordering troubled Niger and Burkina Faso. 2 roadside bombs killed 5 park rangers, 1 park official, and 1 soldier and a French trainer. We extend the borders further when we come back with international news.
Have you received a loan from NSFAF? NSFAF loan is the same as any other loan. It must be paid and settled. NSFAF has a set of guidelines on how you can repay your loan and become debt-free. Therefore, it is important that you, a former beneficiary and a responsible Namibian, show your patriotism by helping pay back your loan and thus helping NSFAF become a revolving fund for the benefit of future potential students. By failing to pay back your NSFAF loan, you risk being blacklisted or having a court order against you. So arrange with the fund to pay back your loan today. For more information on how you can repay your loan, visit our website at www.nasfaf.na or visit our Facebook page or Twitter. Do the right thing and hashtag #paybackthemoney.
Now, in our international news, in our first story, US says Russia may create pretext to attack Ukraine. Russia could invade Ukraine at any time and might create a surprise pretext for an attack, the United States said on Sunday as it reaffirmed a pledge to defend every inch of NATO territory. Russia has more than 100,000 troops massed near Ukraine, which is not part of the Atlantic Military Alliance, and Washington. While keeping open the diplomatic channels, they have so far failed to ease the crisis, has repeatedly said an invasion is imminent. Moscow denies any such plans and has accused the West of hysteria. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, on the eve of the trip that takes him to Kyiv and Moscow for talks with the president, Vladimir Putin, called for Russia to de-escalate and warned of sanctions if Moscow did invade. Now, moving on to a second story, Vietnam to end COVID curbs and on international flights. Vietnam will remove its COVID-19 restrictions on international passenger flights, with all markets starting tomorrow, February 15th, with no limitation on the number of flights, the state Tuai Tre newspaper reported on Sunday. The Southeast Asian country imposed tight border controls at the start of the pandemic to keep out COVID-19 with some initial success, but that dealt the blow to its burgeoning tourism sector, which is accounted for about 10% of gross domestic product. Vietnam had already begun gradually resuming international flights with 15 markets from the beginning of this year, while easing quarantine requirements with vaccinated passengers now needing just 3 days of self-isolation. Now, in our third story, not a dumping ground. Pacific condemns Fukushima water plant on the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Island, says there is a viable alternative to Japan's plan to dump more than 1 million tons of treated water from the crippled Fukushima nuclear power station into the Pacific Ocean, and it requires urgent consideration. The wastewater is a product of efforts to cool the nuclear reactors at the Fukushima that were badly damaged in March 2011 earthquake and tsunami. The Northern Mariana Islands, a United States territory with a population of about 51,659 people, is located only 2,500 kilometers southeast of Japan. The island leaders have declared that Japan's plan, officially announced last year, is unacceptable. We now head straight into our sports news. When we come back, do stay with us. And now we move on to our local sport. In our first story, our sport desk brings us the latest sporting news. And today, Peter Shaulili is the name on everyone's lips as the Brave Warriors and Mamelodi Sundowns players continue to top the chart in the DStv Premier League with 13 goals. Shaulili is not showing any signs of slowing down anytime soon. To still with our local sports news, Namibia's head of state's President Hagen Geingob met former Arsenal legend and French international Thierry Henry in Paris, France on Friday. Geingob said Henry is one of the greatest footballers of his generation and that he has made Arsenal Football Club his second team in the English Premier League after Liverpool. During their chat, Geingob invited Henry to visit Namibia. And with that, we've ended our local sports news. We'll be moving on to international sports news in just a minute.
Have you received a loan from NSFAF? NSFAF loan is the same as any other loan. It must be paid and settled. NSFAF has a set of guidelines on how you can repay your loan and become debt-free. Therefore, it is important that you, a former beneficiary and a responsible Namibian, show your patriotism by helping pay back your loan and thus helping NSFAF become a revolving fund for the benefit of future potential students. By failing to pay back your NSFAF loan, you risk being blacklisted or having a court order against you. So arrange with the fund to pay back your loan today. For more information on how you can repay your loan, visit our website at www.nasfaf.na or visit our Facebook page or Twitter. Do the right thing and hashtag #paybackthemoney.
Now, before we move on to international sports news, the just ended weekend was packed with exciting sports in Windhoek. Let's take a look at the highlights from the Sunday Nedbank Cycle Challenge and the 10-a-side rugby and women's 7 rugby held on Friday and Saturday.
Ja, dit was 'n wonderlike dag gewees hierso van gisterand af al. Baie pragtige dag gewees. Kom ons kyk vinnig wie was die wenners gewees. Natuurlik die vroue was dit Wanderers gewees wat vir UNAM in die finaal gewen het. Wanderers baie oortuigend gewees. Hulle vroue die hele tyd wat die finaal gewen het teen UNAM. En dan in die reserve liga was dit weer dieselfde twee spanne in die finaal. Dit was weer Wanderers en UNAM gewees. En hierdie keer was dit Wanderers wat weer bo uitgekom het. Hulle was op pad om 'n 3 in 'n ry te probeer maak, om 'n 3-3 finale te maak. Maar ons wag en kyk wat het gebeur in die finaal van die ding. Dan kom ons kyk wat gebeur in die finaal. This was the Premier League final of the Castlelight 10-a-side from United, and it was UNAM and Wanderers. They were in the final this time around. Is it UNAM? They came to spoil the party for Wanderers, and that's the first try. It was actually the first of 5 tries which UNAM scored in the final. All of them. It was goals. It was 7-pointers. All of them. That was the first try of UNAM. Just watch them now. That's Ulrich Maton. He impressed with his strength. Leslie Klim, he also impressed. Watch it now there. Leslie Klim, he sent them away. Now it's Leslie Klim. Watch out for him. That's not the one that we want to show you that I thought about now. Leslie Klim, he went over a player at a time now. Here they come again. UNAM, they played the very, very good rugby. That's Sharif Titus. Put the ball ahead. He has wheels, Sharif Titus, and just there. He pushed Johan Tron a bit, and it wasn't a try. It was a penalty to Wanderers this time around. Now here they come again. It's again through Sharif Titus, I think. They come again. UNAM, second of their five tries. UNAM, here they come now. Still UNAM. It was all UNAM in the final. 5 tries. 5 tries for UNAM. Only answer that Wanderers had was 1 try. 1 7-pointer that Wanderers had. Have a look at this one. That was Wanderers' try. This one, Wanderers. This round, that round, and over the try line. Wanderers 7-pointer for their 7-pointer. But that was the first and the last for them. UNAM came to spoil their party. It was 3 finals. 3 finals for Wanderers and UNAM. From the women, they're there again there. There we see them again. Just a toe ahead from UNAM. Not enough wheels. But watch it now. Very good. It's Ulrich Maton. He impressed with his strength. Here again you can see him. Just barges over the line and he scores a try. He scores a try for UNAM. And it was Enrique Olifi with the boot. He also made a fault. 1 foot wrong for him. And he converted all 5 the tries. Here again, UNAM. It was all UNAM from this way on. It was all UNAM. They just went on and they put on the 5-pointers and the 7-pointers like crazy. Went over the line. Mr. Stefan Kalleman, he was the referee in the final. He was there on the spot to award the try. Very well done from UNAM. I think it's the best. They kept the best for last, which you need to do in the final. You cannot stall in the final. And there it was, 137 tries for the weekend. 137 tries, and that was the 137th try from UNAM. The privilege to score it. Last try of the tournament, and they scored it all right. And Enrique Olifi didn't make a fault. He just put them over from everywhere. And the try scorers made it quite easy for him. It was just around the post every time. And that's what we had for you. That was the final. There you can see it, 5-1 tries, 5-1 converted tries is what UNAM scored. 35-7. It was the final score for the Castlelight United 10-a-side.
And that's it from our local sports news. Next up, we'll be looking at our weather forecast, but not right before we go for a quick commercial break. And now let's have a look at our weather forecast. Katiba Mulilo will be sunny with a maximum temperature of 30 degrees, while most areas remain cloudy up north and in central areas. A few showers are expected in Rehoboth, while further in the south, warm weather is expected. A maximum temperature of 39 degrees is expected in Aramsvlei. Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. Now let's have a look at our highlights. The Namibian reports that Namibian doctor Esperance Luvindau has been honored by Britain's Queen Elizabeth with the Commonwealth Points of Light Award for delivering the online consultation to more than 44,000 patients in hard-to-reach rural areas across Namibia since 2019. And in our third story, we tackled international news. Russia could invade Ukraine at any time and might create a surprise pretext for an attack, the United States said on Sunday, after it reaffirmed a pledge to defend every inch of NATO territory. In our local sports news, Peter Shaulili is the name on everyone's lips as the Brave Warriors and Mamelodi Sundowns players continue to top the chart in the DStv Premier League with 13 goals. And that's been it from us here at NMH at 1. Thank you for staying with us, and do join us tomorrow at 1300 hours or 1 p.m. as we take you through the latest happenings in Namibia and beyond. But until then, here's a compilation of news from across the regions in Namibia. I've been your host, Glenora Shipura.
Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to another episode of Regional Review. My name is Tunole Mungoba, your regional correspondent from Namibia Media Holdings, and welcome to another amazing show where we touch base on what has happened in the 4O regions this past week. The 4O regions are Oshana, Omosati, Ohangwena, and Oshikoto region. So please stay tuned and let us dive into the news for this week. On our promo calendar of today, it is Valentine's Day, and it also is the month of love. So how are you going to celebrate Valentine's Day this month or this day with your loved ones? Valentine's Day can be looked at it both from a romantic point of view, platonic point of view, or simply just sharing your love with your family and friends. NMH has prepared a short video for you, so have a look. For our first story of today, we are going all the way to Ohangwena region, where the Minister of Works and Transport, John Mutora, together with the Roads Authority, has officially opened off or kicked off the the rehabilitation, of the phase 1 of the Onono Enana Road. Here, Namibia Media Holdings visited the road to see what problems are being experienced in the region and how the Roads Authority is going to work together with the ministry and the regional and the office of the government to see how they can improve the roads.
Okay, thank you.
Ooh, Kyle.
Acting Divisional Manager, Roads Authority for Road Maintenance. I'm going to just be the director of ceremonies for this very short program. The event is actually the official handing over ceremony of the project phase 1 of the light rehabilitation of the Onuno and Nana Road. Phase 1 of the rehabilitation of the section road between Onuno and Enana. This is 47 kilometers road. The whole road is in a bad shape, as you know, but we would like to address the condition of the road in phases for reasons of budgetary constraints, annual budgetary constraints. So we stand here today to actually carry out the site handover of phase 1 of the rehabilitation of this section of road. It's a stretch of about 6.8 kilometers. The completion date is actually projected to be April this year. Now we have a short program here. We will skip the other formalities because we have another program to actually drive and visit the roads. Now on the program, what we had was we have scheduled the. Okay, let me first recognize, sorry for skipping the protocol.
Good. So that both sides are heard. But of course, as leaders, we should not get tired of explaining to the community. But we can only explain when we have also the true facts. Because you can never say yes, wait. Then tomorrow the officials come and tell you that for this reason, what we cannot continue. So we can only appeal to all of us. The politicians, even like what we are being told now, and will be told this when we go outside, this work, what is the envisaged time of completing it? According to the contract. Was the contract already signed? Yes. What is the contract time?
9 years.
The contract time, because I want these leaders to know.
About 4 months.
About 4 months.
For the section that we are.
Yeah, that's fine. All that I'm saying is this. Of course, in human activities, there are also unpredictable variables you cannot encounter it. But for heaven's sake, let the leaders know. Let the leaders know, the councillor in that constituency and others, because through the councillor the community will know. To say yes, this project was meant to be completed within 4 months. But comrade councillor, due to this, and we can go and check and talk to the contractor there too, due to this, what we regard maybe is legitimate reasons, there will be a delay. Then the councillor will be able to go and convince and tell the community. But if this information flow is not there, obviously, as the councillor said, they're also getting tired. Now to affect the people in the Pembe wanted to go to Vintu.
And then for our second story, NMH also managed to capture how the Roads Authority has visited a bunch of another parts of roads that are also on that Oluno and Nana Road, and we have visited Epembe, which is 46 kilometers deep into Ohangwena region, where community members were sharing their grievances in terms of how the road can be improved, how the government can improve the quality of the work, and if there are any specific changes that the government can complain and assist the residents about.
Senior officials representing the Roads Authority, the regional commander of Nampol and Ohangwena region, other senior government officials present here, either from the regional council or representing the other government entities, members of the media, and most importantly also the contractors and the construction engineers for this project. I must say we are delighted this morning to stand alongside this main road, Enana Onuno, to witness the site handover of the rehabilitation of this road. Indeed, Comrade Minister, this has been long overdue. As I have indicated earlier, the members of the public, the users of these roads, not only those from the Angwena region, but the general public that make use of these roads, rightly so, and I must say legitimately, they have been raising the concerns and the complaints of the condition of this road, Onuno Enana Road. Potholes, not stable. Hence, I'm saying today, we are glad that part of the rehabilitation, the contractor is on site starting today.
A little bit so we have space here for the people to stand. The owner here. This brown Toyota. Yeah, let's shift a little bit so that the people can see our space. Yeah.
What you know best, and that is to construct this road to the level as identified and specified, and we wish you all the best. Maybe you can also say something to accept the responsibility.
Thank you, Honorable Mr. Minister, Honorable Governor.
And for our last story of today, we found out a bust that has happened in the Oshana region, specifically Oshakati, where residents were arrested who were caught using the NMH courier services to transport illegal goods such as alcoholic whiskies from Angola and different goods that have not been cleared out with any shipment. These residents are yet to appear in court, and we are yet to receive a date of when they are going to appear in court. Here's a video for more.
Are we allowed to say? Run it for police station. Just to make it for captain.
Fino kado na warenda tasumbura anatiro kusumbura.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, welcome to another exciting edition.